portals. So let's get our slides moving here. What's going on? Technical difficulty. There we go. Okay. So just to help connect the dots to NTMA's mission, one of the things that we are concerned about as an organization is education. So portals fit right into that. So what are the objectives for our time today? First, we're going to talk about some of the key features of NTMA-U and why it's valuable. Portals, what they are, why they're useful. And then we'll demonstrate how you're going to be supported as you start or renew a portal. And then we'll discuss the grant process. And I think you'll be pleased that it's pretty simple. Okay, so NTMA-U is a valuable resource to our members. It opens the door to opportunity, especially to people that can't make a traditional school schedule work for them. Maybe they live far away from a regional trade school. Maybe they've got a long commute for their job. Maybe they're working a lot of overtime or have family or other life commitments. So it removes a lot of those barriers that are placed by traditional schooling. And it's a very cost-effective way to get this sort of training for machining. It's relevant. So this content was developed in partnership with industry experts. It does cover NIMS competencies for precision machining. It has exercises and assessments that make sure that students have knowledge transfer and retention. And we also offer a mechanical aptitude test that can help companies make decisions around hiring and job placement within their organization, potentially helpful with promotions and job changes within your organization. So what about portals? Portals are a great way to energize your current members, and it's a good selling point for new members. You can brand the portal with your logo and a color scheme of your choice. You can personalize it, promote it to your market area. We're working on new modern brochures with Bluebird to help you advertise. And there's a portion of those brochures that are customizable for the pricing that you pick, your contact information, and your chapter logo. Portals are very intuitive. The system, the platform behind it is very user-friendly, both from a student side and from an administrator side. There's many ways to automate reporting. You can batch some of the common administrative tasks, and we'll talk more about the support side of that in a couple slides. It's sustainable. Compared to a lot of learning management systems and training content providers in the market, this pricing is extremely affordable. NTMA is looking to develop new content, and you'll have the opportunity to decide which pieces and parts work for you and your members. And we do offer portal startup assistance and ongoing administration for a nominal fee based on the number of learners that you have. So let's go check out what a live portal looks like. All right, so everyone right now is seeing the administrator dashboard. So whoever you designate within your chapter to run the portal will see this page. So as you can see, it's pretty user-friendly looking, very clean and simple. This is the area where you create new users. So this is where you put in the student's profile information. There's only a couple key pieces of data that are needed. Really, it's just their name, their email address, and then the type of user, so they're a learner. And then the system will send them a reminder email with an invitation, and then their account is set up. So if we go back a step, once you've got your learners in the system, you'll want to enroll them into classes. So new enrollment. And this lists all the classes, so you can start typing a number. So let's say, for instance, I'm looking for something in the 6th semester, pick mold making. And you can search for users. You can start typing part of their name. And as I mentioned, there's also opportunities to batch these tasks. So let's say that you've got a company within your chapter area that wants to enroll 5 students all in semester 1. You can create those 5 students, batch them into a group, and enroll them at once. So there's a lot of tips and tricks to make this process even easier than it is. So if we go back to our main administrator screen, some of the other things that you'll notice is there's reporting. So a big part of training is making sure that people are doing it and that they're getting what they need to out of the training. So there's reports that show you the course status, so how far along someone is and their scores along that journey. And there are ways to set up a report and then automate them so they get automatically emailed at whatever frequency you pick to your target audience, which is a great way to keep people engaged. So as a learner, they would see this My Courses tab. They wouldn't see the admin dashboard option at all. So this is what a learner would see, and you would have your own chapter logo and color scheme if you so choose. So the learner would scroll down, and you'll see it's a pretty clean interface. So for example, this shows that I have 20 courses that I'm enrolled in. I've completed one, and for each class that's in progress, it's got a status bar that shows me where I'm at. And it shows when I last entered the class, and then it also shows recent activity, kind of like a web browser. So you'll find that most users are able to navigate the system pretty effectively. So now let's go back to the PowerPoint. All right. So let's go over just a couple details around portals. So I think you'll find, as I mentioned, the pricing is affordable and it scales with your chapter. So we have tiered pricing once you go beyond the 199 learners. And just to clarify what the portals are for in terms of chapters, they're for members of your chapter that are in good standing, not for associations, institutions, other chapters, or the general public. And we've got this great opportunity for the grant, which provides $2,500 towards a purchase or renewal through the end of March 2018. I know it can be scary to think about an online learning management system, especially if it's not something that you or your chapter is familiar with from other places. So we're here for you. We've proven that portal administrators can get up to speed on the basic tasks in hours, not weeks or months. And we're also working to develop a lot of support resources, which we'll cover on the next slide. We'll provide up to 10 hours of training via webinar within the first 2 months of your portal start date. And this is a one-time offer for new or renewal portals. So for renewals, this is only good through the grant period. Our team is working to develop a portal administrator playbook. So this is going to be a quick reference guide that covers the main areas of responsibility, such as adding learners and modifying learner accounts, enrolling them in classes, running reports, and providing basic technical assistance to students. And we're also working to develop a growing library of short online training videos that cover those topics. And our software provider also has some great knowledge-based documents that you can always use as a second level of support. So the grant process is fairly streamlined. When you're ready, contact me with your preferred start date or renewal date. We will send you the one-page proposal form and the licensing agreement for your review. Once you sign, date, and send back with payment, your portal will be set up, and we will work with you to schedule the training. So in summary, your chapter has an opportunity to provide over 700 hours of quality online content for up to 199 people in 1 year, and you've got a year to do this for $2,500. So what could that do for your chapter? What could that do for your region or community? How could that help to fill the skills gap that we all know exists in manufacturing? So this is a snapshot of the proposal form, just a few fields, and you're well on your way to getting your portal started. So we've explained to you today some of the benefits and features, the support provided, and the value proposition for a portal. So now I welcome your questions. Can I get a little bit of clarification about the question from Milwaukee?
Mike Retzer, are you on?
Yes. My question, is this running off the NTMA website or the chapter website when you do when you have this portal?
That's a great question. So it's actually its own separate website. So the system is called LearnUpon. So NTMA's main portal is ntma.learnupon.com. Each chapter has its unique URL. So you would have your own URL, maybe something like milwaukee.learnupon.com.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So Kelly from the Connecticut chapter is asking, I guess if you're currently enrolled, would like to know if the grant is applied to any current contracts that the chapters may have.
That's another great question. So the way that the grant works is it's moving forward from the time that it was approved, which was, I believe, March 23rd, 2017. So it's good for any start or renewal up through March 31st, 2018. So for your situation, you could apply it to your renewal.
Dave, are you on?
Yes, I am, Kelly. I'm listening to the questions.
Did you want to provide a little background to any of the chapters who are new to this with the grant request and kind of how this whole process kind of came about?
Yes, yeah, I apologize. I was having some technical difficulty, everybody, at the beginning of the presentation. The points I wanted to make were well covered in the PowerPoint that Stacy just reviewed. And obviously, Stacy's new to the organization and wanted to introduce her to those of you that have not met her. She comes to us as of the 15th of February as the Workforce Development Director, but she has an extensive background on training, both at the corporate level as well as in the manufacturing area. So, you know, with that said, we've had several chapters already signed up for the portals. They've been highly successful. To some of the points already made, they've used the chapters that have the portals today have used them for both member retention as well as new membership. And the other point that I'll reinforce is that the ease of implementation of the portals is, as was shown, is literally hours rather than days or weeks. And the administration of these portals is rather simple as well. So for those of you that were somewhat concerned and have spoken to me at conferences and at chapter meetings about supporting the portal, once you sign the student up and then that student in turn has courses that they're taking, you can monitor how well they're doing. But more importantly, it's not a major undertaking to add students in the future or to manage them while they're taking the courses. The other question that I often get is how quickly can a student go through the course? Well, we've had experience of some students completing the courses in a couple of days, and other students need a little prodding along that might take them a couple of months. They really learn at their own pace. And the other thing that I hear from the students themselves is the reason that they enjoy the NTMA-U online program is very simple. They typically tell me that they get home from work, they have dinner with their family, put their children to bed or whatever, and then they can do their work at the time that they choose. So the flexibility is there. They don't have to drive to a classroom. They don't have to schedule any time during the day out of their work schedule. So those are some of the things that we've learned and heard about over the past year. Currently, we have 22 portals implemented throughout the United States. Some are with members, some are with chapters, some are with schools. So, you know, with that said, think about how you as the chapter leader could utilize this as a tool to add value to the membership and also to help your community.
Thanks, Dave. And for everyone on the line, I'm happy to answer any questions that you think of once we get off the call. And as Kelly mentioned, we'll have the webinar available, the recording available on the website. Looks like one more question.
They want to know.
Okay, we had a couple good questions. Sorry, we're trying to scroll through here. So the first one was on, are there any barriers to getting approved for the grant? We don't anticipate any barriers. The grant is large enough to support every chapter pursuing a portal, either a first-time or renewal purchase, so no worries there. And the other question was around customizing the program. So students can certainly select modules a la carte. There's no need for a person to take every single course, which makes it nice. If you think about your member companies, they have different employees that have different experiences and different skill sets. So they have the ability to pick and choose. And we're also looking to develop and purchase new content that covers more aspects of what's required within a machining company.
And speaking of content, Stacy, the other thing that we've heard of over and over again is the value of the competency test that's part of the portal. Those of you that aren't familiar with what I'm speaking about is within the portal itself, one of the courses, if you will, is a competency test, which allows employers to screen prospective employees as to whether they have certain competency capabilities to help the employer, the member, evaluate whether that person would be successful in the role that they're considering. So Stacy, maybe you want to go through a little bit about the components of the competency test and highlight some of that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dave. So the mechanical aptitude test has 4 parts to it. It covers mechanical and spatial relations, mechanical reasoning, applied mathematics, and theoretical reasoning. Each section has between 20 and 25 questions for a total time of about an hour and a half. The students are limited to completing the test within 1 sitting. They can't stop and come back later. And they're limited to a maximum of 3 hours overall. We do recommend that the potential candidate takes that test at the employer's location so that you can verify that it really is that person doing the test and doing the work.
Mm-hmm. And to give everyone on the phone that's not familiar with it, last year I believe there were about 800 tests taken, which has become one of the most popular modules, if you will, within NTMA-U. And with regards to how popular NTMA-U is in general, we've seen individual portals by larger members subscribing anywhere from 300 to 400 learners in a year. And last year, overall, we had about 1,500 and change modules subscribed to by learners. So it's really taken off from the 29 that we had a few years ago per semester to well over 1,500. When we put the portal grant together, it was specifically for those chapters that perhaps weren't as financially strong as others. So we wanted to provide this great opportunity to have a portal and to provide the learning to members, that every chapter that's part of the NTMA family. That's really the intent. And when it was approved, as Stacy said at the MFG meeting in March, it took all of about 10 minutes because it's such a wonderful program, and it's been so well accepted that the NTMS clearly saw that our intent was to provide these portals to every chapter throughout the U.S. so that the members could utilize the training.
Great. Thank you, Dave. And Don Williams, if you don't mind elaborating a little bit on the question that you sent in.
Sure. Earlier in on one of the slides, you said that the portal could only be available for NTMA members. So I'm curious how schools can offer it. Are they limited to offering it only to NTMA members?
That's a really good question. Let me clarify a little bit. So the intent is that there's different groups that can purchase a portal. So chapters of NTMA in good standing can purchase a portal. There are educational institutions that can purchase a portal and other associations that can purchase a portal. But each of those is only allowed to distribute or use the portal for people within their group. So an NTMA chapter can use the portal for their members that are in good standing and those members' employees. An educational institution can only use the content for students at their educational institution and so on. Does that help clarify?
Well, it helps. Yes, it helps, but I had earlier discussion with Carrie regarding a portal, and she indicated that, like NTMA, we could offer it to non-members, and with the idea that if they got involved with it, they might become members.
I see what you're saying. So you can use it as maybe a potential, you could do a demo to try to entice a new member. And this is also something new that we're working on, this licensing agreement, to make sure that we have a good handle on the content that we're providing so it doesn't get watered down or maybe lose some of its relevancy. So once we're firmed up with the licensing agreement, we are going to send that out to all current portal owners and with each new purchase and renewal, just so everyone's on the same page.
Yeah.
Well, and just so we're on the same page, NTMA offers it to non-members, but at a much higher price.
Correct.
Correct. NTMA Maine does offer it.
Yes, so could a chapter offer it to non-members at a greatly differentiated price?
No, it's not current.
No, that's not our current practice. And Dave, I don't know if you want to weigh in at all.
Yeah. Is this Dan? Is this Dan? Is that who I'm speaking to?
Don Williams in the
Don,
Rock River
okay.
Valley Tooling and Machining.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, Don. Sorry, I didn't catch your name
All
at
right.
the beginning. No, I think what Carrie was trying to explain is some of the chapters provide a free offering of 2 to 3 modules if a company is considering to become a member. And if they do become a member, then they get those 2 or 3 modules as gratis as part of the attraction to become an NTMA member. I obviously don't know the conversation you had, but that's what we see happening throughout the different chapters in the United States.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
That was a lot of really great questions, and I sincerely appreciate the dialogue. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm welcome to any questions or feedback that you have. Please feel free to get in touch with me. Thanks, and we hope to see you getting a new portal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for attending.